Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. Last night in Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni, the signal messages between the Wayfarer parties and the creators of their lawsuit info website were released. This is something that Blake Lively had included as an exhibit in her motion for fees and sanctions under 47.1. The website only ever included 2 legal documents that the Wayfarer parties have filed, and if you go look at the lawsuitinfo.com now, you can see nothing else was ever published after that. It is still just those 2 documents. And these messages were somehow supposed to support her claims, but they actually appear to do the opposite. Last night, I went over these in a live stream with Elsrich, but it got a little bit unhinged. So I'm just going to run through these really quickly in a much shorter form this morning. So most of these messages in the beginning are just talking about what they actually want on the website, just the 2 PDFs for the 2 documents. And one of the Wayfarer attorneys here, Jason Sunshine, says, "That looks great, and it's all cloaked in the litigation privilege," which is something that Blake Lively should know pretty well. And if anyone hasn't seen it yet, this is the website, thelawsuitinfo.com. There is nothing crazy on here at all. Jamie Heath, one of the Wayfarer defendants, says, "That's amazing, looks great, very clean, not flashy." You can see from these exchanges that they didn't want anything that was going to be too theatrical. Here they're just talking about the redactions they want to make before they put it on the website. They're saying, "We missed the Daily Mail reporter again." So I assume that refers to James Vituska, who became quite a controversial figure in all of this. He flip-flopped his story back and forth so many times that I couldn't even keep up with his bullshit. Jason Sunshine says, "These are filed documents. I don't see any risk whatsoever with posting them." And Jamie says, "Great, we are not monetizing off of it. It's simply a landing page to have access to legal documents that are already public. So with that, let's go live." Jamie Heath is obviously not wanting to draw any sort of flashy or unnecessary attention to Wayfarer. They just want their side of the story out. Jed is saying they need approval from the Terminator. I don't know who the Terminator is. I'm assuming that maybe Brian. Brian Friedman says, "Let's launch this thing. It's not going to be perfect and we can make changes. Let's get it rolling." He says, "We need to launch it. It's never going to be perfect. The next question is whether we can control the crash. If we can, we can take a page out of TikTok. It becomes genius." And then Brian Friedman also says, "One small step for mankind, one giant leap for being kind." God, what a monster. When they're asking about what the URL is going to be, Brian Friedman wants it to be itinswithtruth.com. But they decided that was too close to the movie. Then we can see they were having some problems with the launch, but that's not really anything too pertinent. Then they're all looking at this website from their different devices. Different people in their household are looking at it, and they can't figure it out. Jamie's saying we have to take it offline. If it's not accurate to people are going to have the wrong stuff. It's better for us to have a site that's not working than for them to have a site that's flawed. Jamie says, "I'm sorry, guys. Everyone has been working hard on this. Of course, now we have a little document that we are pointing people to that will not be accurate. I've got 3 devices right now I'm looking at, and it's all inconsistent. This cannot go out as it is, so unless we can get this fixed, we are taking it down. There's no chance we are having something like this evidence that we are presenting to the world and have people read things that are not accurate. I'm very strong about this, so either it has to go down or it have to have it fixed. There is no in between." Jesus, I can't believe she actually thinks that this is somehow evidence of something retaliatory. Like, this is not a smear. This man just wants his evidence presented properly and truthfully to the public. Jamie says, "I'm not quite getting something. If I go to my bank account and I want to look at a statement, I click on the statement and the PDF opens up, and it's just one file with all the images there. Why can't this be something similar where you click on the timeline or the complaint and it just opens up as a single PDF that can then be viewed? It would essentially be one long image. I realize I'm not an expert in that, but I'm trying to make sense of it." They were really struggling with this. SRINC is Street Relations Incorporated, I believe, and that's Jed Wallace. He says, "People are getting upset. Happy to get it back up." Jamie says, "Jed, with all due respect to all of them, they'll be just fine. Let them be upset." One of them says, "Panic at the Disco." And it looks like they finally figured this out. So that's good. Somebody here says, "Did you guys see earlier that Candace Owens was saying that she's the one that initially started the timeline?" Pretty sure this timeline outdoes hers. Then they have a link to one of CJ's tweets here. It's this one that says, "Check out Candace, who weeks ago said she had no opinion on Baldoni and now wants to sell t-shirts in support of him." And then the owner of the Signal thread here, whose name is redacted, says, "Should we launch the shirts and donate to domestic violence?" Jamie says, "I think you're kidding, but no thanks." So nothing too crazy here. They just start looking at how many viewers they're getting, and they're excited about that. This person asked, "I was going to ask you guys, do you want us to create social media pages for this website and put some of the content on there as posts and then link it to the website? We can do that for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook." Jed says, not yet, let it breathe tonight, and we will revisit those paths next. Jamie says, let's leave it all as is, folks. We can revisit and consider if needed later, but it's doing what we want it to, exactly as we need it to. I'm happy with the fact that it looks more like a place to host documents rather than looking like a performative website with a lot of architectural design. Let's let it breathe for a bit. Jed says, so the way Baldoni Files people, and if you don't know what Baldoni Files is, it's this subreddit full of people who just like hate Justin and everyone who likes him, which is, they don't like me either, which I think is crazy because they know absolutely nothing about me. So who gives a shit? By the way, they were, speculating on how much money I make off of YouTube a couple weeks back. And some idiot said that I make $1,000 every time I go on a live stream. I'm like, $1,000 every time I go on a live stream. Wow. That would be something. So the way Baldoni Files people are trying to fight back is they registered social media for the lawsuit info. So the lawsuit info on like Instagram and whatever other thing, they tried to like take the name so that they could fuck with it, which is, if that's all you have to do with your day, at least you had something to do, I guess. I don't want to take that away from you. Yikes. Jed says, let them think they have a win. Unhinged. Well, this is unhinged too. And then Mitra, one of the other attorneys, says, who wants to tell her she's not a party to the lawsuit? Whatever lady registered the social media names, I guess. The owner here says, what a psycho. If you don't want to see it, don't look. I don't think those people can handle that. I should have grabbed the handles when we got the URL. Oh, well. Mitra says, perhaps, but it's okay. Every single thing they try to do backfires, which is definitely true. Looking forward to the comments. And the owner also says, or I can just steal them from her. Jen Abel says, if they remain inactive, we can go to our IG reps and take over the name. It's easy, and we do it all the time. Jamie says, I love it. Let those who need to express their disdain for us and love for the other team do it and wear proudly. They're allowed. Just as we love when people sing for us, some will sing for them. Bring it on. We are not dissuaded or even affected. Have at it. This dude is so peaceful, and he's just like, just let them be. Let them have their opinions. We don't need to bother them. And the way that these people just like have so much hatred for that guy is insane. And the fact that Blake thinks any of this would make them look bad is hilarious. The rest of it's just talking about more numbers and SEO. It said people are on lives reviewing the doc line by line. And they have a link to the DUI guy there. I was not doing that at this point. At least not in real time. Like I wasn't paying close enough attention. I think it was like the weekend after they posted that I was even going over that. But I remember it took forever to get through everything. And then the owner, whose name is redacted here, says, I wonder what Blake and Ryan are doing right now. Jason says freaking out. But she says, I'm sure, but I want to know. Are they crying, screaming, yelling, all of the above? Wonder how their vacation is going. All right, and that's the end of it. There's, like I said, nothing in there that's very damning at all. If anything, it kind of has the opposite effect, I think, of what she intended. But that seems to be a theme with Blake Lively. So that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.